it was the culmination of many years of hard work, and just something that I never thought I'd get the chance to do. I keep saying it, but when I started competing in this sport, Dana was still saying women will never fight in the UFC. I will never put a women's fight on in that octagon. And then here I am, in Dublin, in front of my people, my hometown, winning in the UFC. You know what I mean? I never thought I'd get here, and the way it happened, to have such a great fight against such a tough opponent. And honestly, I enjoyed every single second of it. Every knee to the face, every up kick I took, I was smiling. Even in between round 2 and round 3, I honestly I didn't want the fight to end. I was like, is this all I get? 3 rounds? I'd love 10.
What was it like, obviously watching last year from the sidelines and then being in it this time round?
To be honest, missing it last year was completely miserable. It really upset me. It was so hard to sit in the Ultimate Fighter house, and I knew I had watched it. I was watching it a day late. Everything had happened. There was, I'm sending somebody positive vibes for yesterday. It doesn't make a difference now, and the camera crews and stuff, and nobody's making eye contact with me because they all know the results. And it was heartbreaking, honestly. And then when obviously I had got wind that the UFC card was coming to Dublin, I knew I was going to be on it. I knew there was no way that they were going to leave me out, but I wasn't taking any chances. So I blew up Sean Shelby's phone. I started a Twitter campaign to get me on the card, and I started training. So basically, tonight is about the last 16 weeks of my life have been all about tonight. And people saw me. I came in the best shape of my life at the weigh-ins yesterday, and I had one of the best fights I've ever had in my career. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I loved every second of it.
This fight tonight, though, you just came straight out, didn't care what happened, went Don Fry style, swinging punches, swinging knees. Completely different to Aisling Daly of the past. Did you feel there was an urgency? There needed to be an urgency in your performance?
I didn't feel
Was it the crowd? Because you seemed like zombie, cranberries, every single person in there was singing along with you.
That was amazing to hear everybody sing along with me. I didn't feel an urgency. I felt like I wanted to give the fans something to watch. I felt like I wanted to give them a performance. I wanted to impress them. People say to me, what's your fighting style? And I always say, I'm aggressive, I'm a finisher. I like to go out there and fight, and that's what I wanted to do. And I definitely went out there and done that, but at the same time I feel like I fought very smart. I know she's a jiu-jitsu specialist. There was times where I could have maybe dove into guard and threw a whole bunch of ground and pound and maybe been fighting out with submission, but I didn't. I wouldn't say I played it safe. I played it smart. I landed my own shots and I took my time, and I just enjoyed it. Honestly, I was reveling in every minute of it, and it was one of those fights sometimes where things are a blur and I don't really know what's going on at the end of it. I'm like, oh, I won that fight, but I don't really know what happened. But I could hear everything in the crowd. I could hear everything in my corner. My coach gave me instructions. I was like, okay, John just said to do this, so you should do this now. No, I can't do that now. Her leg is not in the right place. Okay, I missed that. Wait and see what he says next. I'll just hang on here. I literally am having these conversations in my head, oh, the crowd sounds really cool. Oh, this is amazing. I'm fighting in Dublin. It was just such a crazy experience. I've never had that for a fight before, so I just wanted to enjoy the whole thing, and I did. I enjoyed every single second. It was phenomenal.
Seems as a story every time the UFC come to Dublin. Last time it was the clean sweep that we had, and tonight, the even bigger story. You going out there, you're getting your chance in Dublin. Paddy in the main event. What is it now where it seems that every time the UFC come to Dublin, before and in the future, there's going to be this huge Irish storyline for all the Irish fighters taking their pride?
I think it's the crowd behind us. It's crazy when that support is behind us. It's literally almost like there's nothing that we can't do, and we've all worked so hard for this. Like in the States, UFC has been around for a long time there, and there was a lot more opportunities to get yourself on a UFC card. Sometimes even in the past it was kind of what gym you were from rather than how good your skills were, whereas for us we had to work so hard to put ourselves on the map to be noticed as a team of good fighters. And now we're here, and now we're just taking everything we can. We're just reveling in it. We want to perform well. We want to collect those bonuses. We want to entertain the fans. That Crow Park gig, we want that. We want 90,000 screaming fans with Conor as the main event, Paddy as the co-main, myself on the main card, whatever. We want that, and we're going to bring in the numbers for the UFC. And like I said, I just think it's the support behind us. There's nothing the Irish people can't do when we all get together. When you think of some of the biggest companies in the world, and if you look at who the CEOs are and all that kind of stuff, we just tend to get our way in there. We start at the bottom, we work hard, and eventually we work our way to the top, and that seems to be what's happened in the UFC as well. You know what I mean? Like with a performance like that tonight, and I honestly feel like it was a sloppy performance for me. I know I can do a lot better, and I just feel like, all right, strawweights, you're all on notice. I'm here, and I cut to 115. I have it dialed down, perfect. I have cardio for days. Did you see me in round 3 bouncing around? I'm coming for that belt. That's mine.
Is that the thing? Putting the challenges out there every time you get, Croke Park's the next big challenge for you guys. Is that something that allows you to see the clear path, where you guys have got to go, and it just kind of helps you, visualize where you have to be?
Yeah, definitely. How you know where you're going if you don't have a map? So to have a map going, okay, well this is it. We could potentially have, in the space of a year, a huge Croke Park show with 2 or 3 Irish people fighting for belts. All who's not going to want to see that? You know what I mean? People all over the world will come to see that. Definitely, the Irish people will be there. It will be phenomenal. It'll be amazing. It'd make huge money for the UFC. It'd be huge for the Irish people. It'd be used for just MMA the world over. It'd be phenomenal for this tiny little island, and we just bring in this whole rake of champions. Not even this tiny island, this one gym with that started off a little handful of me and a couple of guys in a shed going, what's this MMA stuff, let's give it a go. Crazy.
Ash, you look good all week on fight week. You were happy, you were in good form. The weight cut seemed to be a breeze this time. Talk to me about the preparation and leading up to the fight. Did everything go a lot easier than it has in the past for you?
To be honest, everything was going pretty hard, and I was struggling kind of the way I normally do. And then I was introduced to a girl called Lindsay Doyle. She's a former Irish kickboxer. She's a personal trainer, strength and conditioning coach, and she just helped me out. The last 3 weeks, she's just put so much time and effort into me. And honestly, in the last 3 weeks, she changed this camp from being my usual, oh my God, I'm going to die making 115, to basically being like, okay, do this, this, and this. And you've seen the performance now. She had 3 weeks to make that happen. I cannot wait to see what she's going to do with me when she has, 12, 16 weeks to put into me.
On now and really,
definitely.
make a push for the title.
She's my secret ingredient to make me world champion. She just came along at the perfect time, and it's at a time when I've been so positive and so upbeat, and honestly things have just seemed to align themselves where everything's just come together for me perfectly. The cut was always the issue. I was never performing the way I do in the gym in fights, and that's not even an issue anymore. So this is it. This is Ash 6.0. You're gonna see better performances than tonight from now on. That's it.
When you look at the division, what do you make of the current champion, Joanna Jędrzejczyk? How many more fights do you think you need? Because obviously it's a weight class that's still developing, and there's other fighters that are getting title shots off just a couple of wins. And who do you think would make sense for you next?
I think she's a fantastic fighter. I think she's a great striker. Her takedown defense is really good. She's definitely a legitimate champion. I do think the strawweight division is so all over the place. We're such a new division that it's kind of at the stage where we're all floating all over the place. The Ultimate Fighter, I think, messed up a lot of the girls. It wasn't an accurate depiction of skill set. It was almost who survives best in a pressure cooker environment. So I think over the next little while the division will sort itself out a little bit. I honestly don't know who they'll give me, Lex, and to be honest I don't care. I've never been about that. I'll fight anybody anytime. I was supposed to be fighting Claudia, and she was the big deal at the time, and she pulled out of that fight and it didn't happen. But I'm never on the back foot from anybody, so whoever the UFC want to give me, that'll make me happy. And potentially the division is so small, it'll just be 1 or 2 more wins, and then I'll be straight in there looking for a title shot anyway. I think I'd be a great fight for Joanna.
Thank you.
Does this fight still make sense for you?
Does which fight, sorry?
The fight against Claudia still make sense?
It could make sense for me, especially now with the new systems in place for the USADA stuff. I'd be a lot more comfortable fighting her in that situation than I would have been previously. So like I said, I'll fight anybody. But USADA, no USADA, everybody knows that there is people in the division who abuse PEDs, and even before I started fighting in the UFC, there was constantly girls who were breaking the rules and whatever. So it is what it is. The UFC are doing a great job trying to clean it up, and I have faith that they're doing all that they can, and I'll just turn up and fight. If the UFC say they're clean, then I'm going to turn up and ready to go.
Thanks, Ash. Congrats. Well done.
Woo!